everyone, you are welcome to our program. Today is 29th of May 2025. It is interesting development that the court process is going in accordance with the sympathizers of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And on the other hand, it is going against the wishes of the Nigerian government of Ahmed Tinubu, who inherited this very particular case from his predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari of APC. It is interesting to note also that the witnesses of federal government, especially those from the Directorate of State Services, DSS, are doing their best in the cross-examination by telling Nigerians the contrary answers to the questions raised by defense counsel and sometimes the prosecution counsel. One example of this is the question of who brought Mazi Nnamdi Kanu back to Nigeria from Kenya. There had been denials from the DSS, but many Nigerians and the world at large do not accept this analogy of I don't know, I'm not aware, and imposing lies against the defendant. This has brought misery not only to the public, but also to the DSS agents themselves and those who imposed them to go for cross-examinations. But the one so important now is to know who brought Mazi Nnamdi Kanu back from Kenya. The DSS vehemently denied this during the cross-examination. They said they do not know. But it is important to let the world know who brought Mazi Nnamdi Kanu back to Nigeria. Before we continue this, we would like all our listeners and viewers to subscribe to this channel, share your views by leaving your comments, as well as sharing the videos with your friends and well-wishers. Thank you. Let us continue. We will first listen to the interview of the former Minister of Information under the regime of Muhammad Buhari on what he termed as, quote, how Nnamdi Kanu was trailed 2 years by security agents before his arrest, unquote. This was on the 1st of July 2021 in various Nigerian newspaper publications. But before we read these papers, we will first and foremost watch the video where the minister addressed Nigerians about the arrest of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of indigenous people of Biafra. Again, this video is being made because the DSS has denied that they never knew about the arrest of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that DSS was never involved in the arrest. But however, their home, their offices, their detention center was made home for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, made home for where he was interrogated, made home for where he is being taken to court from time to time till the period this question of who arrested him came on board before the court of law controlled and administered by Justice James Omotosho of Federal High Court, Abuja, Nigeria. Now let us listen to former Minister of Information, Lai Mohamed, during the time of former Nigerian military dictator as Nigerian president, who also was instrument to the kidnapping of Dr. Umaru Diko in 1984. Let us hear what his minister, Lai Mohamed, told Nigerians on this very particular date using channel television and other news media alike.
Gentlemen, the federal government wishes to commend the Nigerian Security and Intelligence Services, who collaborated to rearrest the proscribed IPOB leader in one of the most classic operations of its type in the world. We commend the professionalism, diligence, patriotism, and painstaking efforts of our security and intelligence agencies. We also thank the sister international agencies that collaborated with us to pull off this arrest. It will interest Nigerians to know that for over 2 years, our security and intelligence agencies were on the trail of the proscribed IPOB leader as he lived a five-star life across several countries, traveling on chartered private jets, living in luxurious apartments, and turning out in designer clothes and shoes. Of course, as we all saw, he was arrested wearing an attire made by Fendi, a luxury Italian fashion brand. We can tell you that the forensic investigation carried out so far has revealed a treasure trove of information on the proscribed IPOB leader and its collaborators. While the investigation continues, we assure you that none of the collaborators, irrespective of their standing in the society, will be spared. They will all face the full wrath of the law for their activities that challenge our nation's sovereignty and threatens its unity. No one, no matter how highly placed, is bigger than the country. It's also interesting that many are suddenly calling for a fair trial for Kanu, as if he didn't get one before. He decided to jump bail and flee. However, I can assure you that the fair deal that Kanu denied many of the victims of the violence which he willfully instigated through his broadcasts and tweets will not be denied him. Finally, there have been speculations on how this rearrest was pulled off and in which country the hitherto fugitive leader of the proscribed IPOB was nabbed. What we can tell you once again is that their rearrest was made possible by the diligent efforts of our security and intelligence agencies in collaboration with countries with which we have obligations. We continue to respect and honor these obligations.
Now, from this press interview, we understand that Nigerian security services and intelligence agencies were involved in this very particular kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. From the minister's pronouncement, it means that the state security services, they are responsible for domestic intelligence. The National Intelligence Agency, NIA, responsible for foreign intelligence and the counter-intelligence operations. Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, responsible for military intelligence, with the National Security Advisor as the organizing director of all the intelligences. It is understandable that during the period period of Muhammadu Buhari as the president, Yusuf Magaji Bichi was the Director General of State Security Services, under whose umbrella Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was detained in their detention facility. Then the Director of National Intelligence Agency, NIA of Nigeria, during the time Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was abducted, was Ahmed Rufai Abubakar, while the Chief of Defense Intelligence Nigeria was Major General Samuel Adebayo during the time Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped. These are the intelligence agencies, with the National Advisor on Security to the President then was Babagana Mongono, was the National Security Advisor to Nigerian President. These were the Security Services, Intelligence and Defense. The former Information Minister of Muhammadu Buhari was describing and informing the public, Nigerians, that this group of agencies gathered together and formulated and trailed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with his full knowledge, with the knowledge of all the agents, directors, and national security advisors. This therefore means that masked men from the DSS that represented Nigerian government, we are all telling lies to the public, to Nigerians, and to international community when they stated they do not know or not aware of how Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was brought to their detention center before they interviewed him. The essence of making this very program, as you may understand from all that have transpired, is to show that the government of Muhammadu Buhari, the ministers, the national advisors, the chief of defense staff, the military, police, navy, and Air Force, we are all very, very much involved. And that the DSS, the Minister of Information and Justice, we are all involved. Therefore, there is no need of saying they do not understand, they are not aware, or they were not aware, or they cannot say anything about what is going on in the department where they interrogate people on a daily basis. Today's very exposition showing that the government of Muhammadu Buhari and their crew, we are all in the plot, execution through kidnapping and rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu back to Nigeria, during which he was left in the hands of the state security services to carry out the other functions, including preparing him for court and taking him to court and bringing him back to the facility. However, this was ordered by the former judge handling the case, Justice Binta Nyako of Federal High Court, Abuja. With this, we come to the end of this part one on how Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was brought to Nigeria with full knowledge and involvement of only Nigerian agents, because Kenya denied having any access. But that goes to tell the truth that some members of those who are of inner circle of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must have been involved, because they worked with them that work also with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is where the basis of the link and the knowledge of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's movement before he was finally kidnapped, abducted, and renditioned back to Nigeria. Thank you for watching, and we hope this will alert people. It must have been forgotten, but it's still in the archive of various media. When you research, you'll be able to get required information. Thank you for watching. Till we come to you in the next part 2 of this very program. Therefore, the DSS must realize that majority of the information they are denying are in the public domain. It is not good that it is stated that Nigeria was built on fraud, lies, corruption, and the other vices not mentioned. Therefore, it is important that those in leadership should be able to come out boldly and tell the truth. And this will change the narrative about the country called Nigeria. Thank you for watching. Till we come to you once again, God bless you all. Bye.